What's going on? James here, and welcome to my Buccaneers Mock Draft Round 2. Now, for this second edition of this mock draft, if I guess you could say, I tried doing something completely different. What I mean by that is that basically every single player is different, minus one person, but it doesn't really matter because he's in the later rounds. So now with the JPP trade and a lot of different things that have been coming out about certain draft prospects and about certain teams, I've kind of got a better understanding of what might happen in the draft. Obviously, we all do. But now that the Bucs have made this trade with JPP, they moved up in the 4th round, and they also don't have a 3rd round pick anymore. So that was huge when assessing the players and positions of need in this new mock draft. So we have a 1st, a 2nd, a 4th, a 5th, 2 6th, and a 7th, which all of you pointed out to me in the last mock draft. So thank you all so much for that. So starting off, round 1, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with pick number 7 taking Saquon Barkley, running back out of Penn State. Now for this scenario to work, basically, I guess I should say, some stuff has to happen, okay? So the Cleveland Browns have to take a quarterback. The New York Giants probably have to take a quarterback. I also predict that the New York Jets are going to take a quarterback. I do predict that the Bills are going to trade with the Cleveland Browns maybe to get a quarterback. As well as pick 5 and 6, I predict that Bradley Chubb and Quentin Nelson are both going to be picked. Both going to be taken with those picks, I guess I should say. So if all of that were to happen, the Bucs get Saquon Barkley in this scenario. Now, a lot of people might say, like, oh, well, why do you have them taking Saquon here and not Derwin James? Running or safe defensive back is more of a need than running back. Well, yes, it is technically, but Saquon Barkley is what you call a generational talent. People have been comparing this guy to Barry Sanders, for goodness sakes. This guy is a phenomenal talent. You don't use the term generational talent lightly, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people are high on Saquon Barkley, and people for some reason have kind of died down on it lately. But whenever the draft first started and whenever the combine first happened, people lost their minds over Saquon Barkley, and there was a legitimate argument for him going number 1 overall. There still kind of is still kind of is an argument for that, but a lot of people consider Saquon the best player in this draft, and if he were to fall to the Bucs in this scenario, I think there wouldn't be a lot of Bucs fans who would be mad at that. So I have the Bucs taking Saquon Barkley here with pick number 7. Now moving on to the 2nd round, okay? Now when I was doing this mock draft, I thought, well, what are the Bucs positions of need? And I tagged running back, cornerback, defensive end's honestly not that much of a need anymore, and I guess safety, if you want to call it a need, because honestly, the way I was trying to view this in the mind of Jason Licht, or Licht, if that's how he pronounces it. But I was trying to view this in the mind of Jason Licht and think, like, okay, what are our needs? Well, I like Chris Conti, and I like Justin Evans, and I like Keith Tandy. So I'm not going to really focus on safety until a later round. But cornerback, we do have a problem at, because we don't know what's going to happen with Brent Grimes. Vernon Hargreaves is nice, but we need a little bit more. I don't know how Ryan Smith is going to develop, and I'm not really too sure about bringing in some veteran free agent competition. You know, we have Maurice Fleming there. We might bring back Judai Shea-Barima, but it's really shaky, and we kind of like Javian Elliott as well. But for the 2nd round pick, I have the Buccaneers taking Anthony Everett, cornerback out of Alabama. Now this one's really interesting because he is labeled as a very good zone coverage cornerback, and that's kind of what the Bucs like. He's also not too bad at press, if I remember correctly, and he is also kind of what the Bucs are going for in terms of size. He's not tiny under any circumstance. I believe he's 6 foot tall, so he's kind of what a lot of Bucs fans want necessarily. His NFL comparison was Tre'Davious White, which I love. If this guy's anything like Tre'Davious White, then we're gonna be really happy with this pick, because that means that he's just a really nice ball hawk. He's just a really good player, and he's just he's just all around a phenomenal talent. My phone just went off. It's fine. We'll get through this together. But all in all, this would be a really nice pickup for us. And we do need a cornerback at this point in the draft. And we do get a decent one here who can probably start opposite of Brent Grimes day one. So really just a very nice pickup for us. But moving on to the 4th round now, I guess I should say. So when obviously thinking about the 4th round, we got our pretty decent cornerback, but we're still going to need more depth, but we'll get to that later. And we've got our running back now in Saquon Barkley. So honestly, we're pretty set at the offensive position, and now we kind of just need to focus on depth that could become starters. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of fringe. Maybe we start these guys eventually. Maybe if they develop, maybe they can develop into something. Late in these later rounds, you're not really looking for guys who can be day one starters. You're kind of looking for that in maybe, and obviously day one, in maybe day two, you're looking for day one starters. But day two, that's very iffy. But now you're at the very end of day two. So this is kind of where you're looking for guys who could be starters, maybe so. But here I have them taking a safety. I have them taking Marcus Allen, the safety out of Penn State. He's joining Saquon Barkley in this double. We get 2 guys from Penn State in this mock draft, in my opinion. But for our safety position, the big thing here is finding somebody to pair with Justin Evans. Justin Evans is going to be our free safety for sure. For sure, he's going to be our free safety. But now we need a strong safety. And I really like Marcus Allen here. The dude's big. The dude's big. He's 6'2". Dude's a monster. And he has got phenomenal run-stopping ability, and he hits like a freaking truck. I'm really high on this guy right now. You know, I like him a lot. And he just, good beelining speed, just... He does need some work in coverage, obviously, but I feel one of the main jobs of the strong safety position is kind of be that really big hitter and really good in the run game. I feel like the free safety is more of the coverage guy, whereas the strong safety is just, I'm going to destroy you, and there's not much you can do about it. Sorry. You know, you can develop his coverage if you want to, but I feel the Bucs are kind of lacking that now, that really guy who just lays down the freaking truck hit stick, you know? They had that with TJ Ward a little bit, but he's no longer on the team, so now you move on to Marcus Allen, and I like that pick a lot. So with this mock draft right now, we have solved a couple of problems, okay? We've got a new starting running back, just a arguably, he could be one of the top running backs in the league after his first season. We've also got another cornerback now to add with Brent Grimes and Vernon Hargreaves, and we've also got a safety who could potentially be a starter, but we don't know yet. Kind of a fringe starter, it just depends. But now we need to build a little bit more on that depth, you know what I'm saying? We need some more cornerback help, we need some more edge help, wink wink, and we need a little bit of some offensive line help as well. So moving on, I have us taking an edge rusher here. I have us taking Leon Jacobs, edge out of Wisconsin. Probably one of the best edge rushers left available right now. When I was researching all the players, nobody really stuck out to me besides Jacobs. He is just fast. He's good. He's just all around a pretty good edge rusher. He's obviously not a guy who's going to be a starter under any circumstances, especially with Vinny Curry and Jason Pierre-Paul there as well with Noah Spence. But I feel if you can get him rotational and get him working on some of his skills more, because he does need to develop a little bit more as a pass rusher, hence why he's going in round 5 here. But if we have him as a rotational guy and we really work with him more, I feel that he can be a very good rotational type guy and work with guys like Vinny Curry, work off of, I guess I should say, guys like Vinny Curry, Jason Pierre-Paul, and even Noah Spence to a certain degree. And I feel he can only help our pass rushing rotational thing, because we know how Mike Smith likes to do with rotating pass rushers. So I really like Jacobs in this spot. I feel he would be one of the better pass rushers left available, as it kind of goes like top of the board, some pretty darn good pass rushers, and then after that it kind of is like, you know, it is what it is. But I really like Jacobs here. I think he'd be a very nice rotational guy for us. So just to review here, we have our starting running back in Saquon Barkley. good pick. We have a starting cornerback, in my opinion, in Everett. We have a arguably a starting safety in Marcus Allen, not too sure yet, and we have a rotational pass rusher in Jacobs. So we've addressed some good needs here, but we still need a little bit more help at that cornerback position. So I have us taking Devontae Harris, cornerback, out of Illinois State. Now, again, it's all about this mock draft. I was all about building cornerback depth and really trying to solidify that secondary, because that's huge. Obviously, Saquon Barkley fell to us in this scenario because I had a lot of quarterbacks getting taken and whatnot, so we didn't really address the secondary too well in the early rounds of the draft. We did take that cornerback. We're going to get another cornerback here in Harris because, quite frankly, we just need more depth. And Harris, I feel, isn't that bad. He obviously does have some stuff to work on, but he is very good in the run game, and he isn't too bad of a route. He isn't too bad of a coverage guy as well, I guess I should say. He does need to work on some stuff, but I feel he can be a practice squad type guy. Maybe you have him as your fifth cornerback, but probably not. He's probably gonna end up as the practice squad. These late round guys are always hard to call. I'm kind of just looking more towards if they can develop into something for us, and I feel that Harris would have a pretty good chance of developing into something for this team later on down the line. But all in all, guys, we're rolling right along here. So we've got some more cornerback depth. We've got all this stuff. We've got, you know, we helped out the defense a lot. We helped out the offense a lot. But we're going to move back to the offense here with this next pick. Okay, it's our second sixth round pick, by the way. So round 1, Saquon Barkley. Round 2, Anthony Everett. Round 4, I guess I should say, Marcus Allen. Round 5, Leon Jacobs. Round 6, Devontae Harris. And the second round pick, I have us taking Taylor Hearn, guard out of Clemson. Now, in this mock draft, Quentin Nelson's already gone. So we don't necessarily need a guard, because right now our offensive line is Donovan Smith at the left tackle position, Ali Marpet at the left guard position, Ryan Jensen at the center position, J.R. Sweezy at the right guard position, and DeMar Dodson at the right tackle position. Now, I understand why they're doing this. In my opinion, they moved Ali Marpet over to the left guard position to help out Donovan Smith more, because they know the teams are going to try and pick on Donovan Smith, and they don't want to put a rookie next to Donovan Smith because that wouldn't be good. That's the left side of the field, I guess I should say, or the left side of the offensive line wouldn't go so well, because they would know, okay, Donovan Smith does take some plays off. He doesn't take some plays off, but Donovan Smith sometimes can be inconsistent at the left tackle position. Let's attack the left side of the field if they're going to put a rookie there. That's why they put Ali Marpet there, because they know that DeMar Dodson can hold down the right side. And we don't know what we're going to have in J.R. Sweezy yet, so this is where Taylor Hearn comes in. I like Taylor Hearn. He does have some problems with sustaining blocks, as do a lot of these offensive linemen later down the line, but he has a very, very, very strong initial punch, if you know what I'm saying. So right off the jump, right off the snap, he will give you a really good punch, but after that, he has trouble sustaining his blocks. That's where our offensive line coaches are going to have to come in and really help him figure out ways to sustain blocking. And I feel guys like Ali Marpet and guys like DeMar Dodson will help him out a lot with that. Keep in mind, Hearn is by no means going to be a starter. If you want my honest opinion about our offensive line, it's going to be DeMar Dodson left tackle, Ali Marpet left guard, Ryan Jensen center, probably J.R. Sweezy as our right guard and DeMar Dodson as our right tackle. But Hearn is there to maybe develop behind Sweezy, and he might have to come in if Sweezy is still kind of injured. We don't know what his injury situation is right now, so if Sweezy does end up still being injured or he isn't performing that well, that's when you would say, okay, Hearn, let's see what you have. We know that you have a very good initial punch, but you don't sustain blocks very well, but that's okay because we have DeMar Dodson next to you and Ryan Jensen next to you, so it's not too bad. So let's see what you can do. You don't really need to sustain your blocking that much if we have good linemen surrounding you. So, all in all, I mean, I think this is just a very good depth signing. But, to review one more time before we get to our last pick here, we drafted Saquon Barkley with a round 1, Anthony Everett round 2, Marcus Allen round 4, Leon Jacobs round 5, Devontae Harris round 6, and Taylor Hearn round 6. So we are on to the last round, and this is it. This is where my guy repeats, is J.T. Thomas, cornerback out of Oklahoma. We drafted 3 cornerbacks in this draft, guys. 3. Now, my theory behind this, and my logic behind this, is not all three of these guys are going to stay on the roster, okay? Anthony Everett would stay, and Devontae Harris and JT Thomas, they might stay, but I feel like that they would for sure end up on a practice squad. If not ours, then somebody else's. JT Thomas, again, I still like him. Consistency does escape him, but I still think he's good. I still think he's good at press, and I still think he has good coverage, and I really like him. I like JT Thomas, okay? I'm sorry, but he's the only guy that I kept because I feel like it didn't matter that much because he's a very late round guy. But you guys have heard me talk about JT Thomas before, and I just appreciate him, and I like him a lot. So just to give us a little review here, guys, okay? Final review here, okay, for this 2.0 mock draft, MrBucsNation 2.0 mock draft. Round 1, we got Saquon Barkley, okay? We get a starting running back, a generational talent at running back, just a phenomenal player for this draft. Arguably the best player in this draft, drops all the way to 7 due to quarterback needs for the top teams, as well as just flat-out needs for the Denver Broncos and Bradley Chubb not being a running back. This is kind of, some people might argue that that's a luxury pick, but he's he might be the best player in the draft. I think we take him here. And then you move on to round 2, and you get a cornerback in Anthony Everett, which I like that. I like the pick a lot. People are going to say that, you know, like, oh, why we need to take Derwin James to fix our secondary. Well, I like the pick here because it does give us a little bit more depth at the cornerback position without with us also getting a generational talent, Saquon Barkley. And I feel that Anthony Everett, if he's anything like Tre'Davious White, like his NFL comparison says he is, then he'll be very good, and people will really start to like Anthony Everett. And then in round 4, we go Marcus Allen, which I feel would be one of the better pairings up with Justin Evans. Just pure power. He hits like a truck. Dude's tall, dude's fast, dude's strong. I love Marcus Allen. So we get a couple of Penn State guys. Moving on to round 5, we get Leon Jacobs, who will be a rotational pass rusher for us at least. Obviously, he's not going to start with Vinny Curry and JPP or even Noah Spence there, but I feel that he can at least provide something while he develops behind those guys. Obviously, they're 29 apiece, JPP and Vinny Curry, and they're not going to be around forever. So that's where Jacobs comes in. Him and Noah Spence could maybe be the future of the edge rushers of the Buccaneers. And then moving on to round 6, our 2 picks are Devontae Harris and Taylor Hearn. Hearn, we don't know what would happen with Hearn yet, but I still feel he would at least be a backup. And Devontae Harris, he could be a practice squad guy, but he could also be our 5th cornerback possibly as well, because it just kind of depends, because after Hargraves, that 4th and 5th cornerback spot is definitely up for grabs, and I feel like Harris would definitely give a good competition, as well as our 7th round pick, JT Thomas. If anything, Thomas would end up on our practice squad and just kind of develop him more and work on his consistency more. And maybe he could be a guy that you bring on later on if there's some injuries, along with Devontae Harris. So all in all, that's my mock draft, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Give your opinions. Do you think I reached on some guys? Do you think I missed out on some guys? Who would you take in these rounds? You know, keep in mind we have we have a first round pick, a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick, 2 6th round picks, and a 7th round pick. So again, give me your opinions on this mock draft down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.